Hey NBA fans everywhere. Alex here, bringing you the absolute biggest trade bomb that just dropped and is shaking the entire league to its core. While the playoffs are giving us incredible drama, the off-season speculation just went into overdrive because the future of one of the NBA's biggest superstars is suddenly uncertain. Get ready, because for the first time in his entire career, the two-time MVP, the champion, the Greek freak himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo, is reportedly open-minded about the possibility of playing outside of Milwaukee. This is huge news. Giannis has been the heart and soul of the Bucks since they drafted him over a decade ago, leading them to that unforgettable championship in 2021. But since then, despite making the Eastern Conference semifinals once, they've had 3 straight first-round exits. Add to that Damian Lillard's season-ending injury and a concerning lack of draft capital and young talent for the Bucks moving forward, and it looks like Milwaukee might be facing a long, tough rebuild. And the bombshell? Giannis might not be sticking around for it. The context here is critical. After that recent first-round loss to the Pacers, speculation ramped up. Then, Shams Charania of ESPN dropped the report on Tuesday morning that Giannis is indeed open to exploring his best options outside of the Bucks organization. This isn't just idle chatter anymore. It's coming from credible sources. NBA insider Howard Beck even mentioned on the Zach Lowe show last week that, based on his poking around, his impression is that Giannis would prefer one of the big cities, specifically naming one of the Los Angeles teams, one of the New York teams, or potentially Miami, calling it a glamorous, mid-sized market. ESPN's Brian Windhorst also threw Houston and San Antonio into the mix as teams to keep an eye on, citing their combination of young players and valuable draft capital acquired from other teams. The impact of Giannis potentially being available is simply staggering. He's a top 5 player in the world, a two-way force who can instantly turn a contender into a favorite. His availability completely changes the landscape of the upcoming offseason and the draft lottery. Teams that might have been planning minor tweaks are now undoubtedly scrambling to see if they can put together a package for a generational talent like Giannis. The question now becomes, which teams are the most likely contenders, and what would it take to land him? Let's break down some of the potential suitors based on recent reports and analysis, looking at their chances and challenges. First, the Phoenix Suns. Could you imagine KD and Giannis? Matt Ishbia would surely try, but honestly, the analysis suggests this is unlikely. The only truly appealing trade asset for Milwaukee would be Devin Booker, and even if the Suns were willing to move him, Giannis might not be keen on joining an aging roster with very little draft capital left to build around him for immediate title contention. A package centered around Kevin Durant and picks also seems unfeasible, as the Suns only have one tradable first-round pick, and Durant at this stage might not do much for a rebuilding Bucks team. Next, the Denver Nuggets. While they are contenders, the analysis says it's hard to see this happening. Assets like Jamal Murray, health concerns, and Michael Porter Jr., inconsistent, are seen as declining in value for a rebuilding team. Plus, their salaries aren't enough to match Giannis's $54.1 million contract easily, and they only have one tradable first-round pick. They just don't seem to have enough assets to compete. How about the Los Angeles Lakers? On their own, the analysis suggests they likely don't have enough. Players like Austin Reeves and potentially a draft pick like Dalton Knecht are mentioned as attractive pieces, but with only one tradable first-round pick available after the draft, it's highly unlikely they could pull this off without getting another team involved. This scenario might only happen if Giannis really pushes to go to the Lakers and somehow convinces Milwaukee's front office to make a questionable deal. While Giannis has expressed interest in Europeans going to big markets, forcing his way to the Lakers might not fit his public image. Plus, if LeBron returns on a max deal, salary matching becomes even harder. What about our Golden State Warriors? Could we see Steph, Butler, and Giannis? Stranger things have happened. The analysis notes that this would require significant buy-in from Milwaukee. The Warriors do have 4 tradable future first-round picks, which is a solid starting point. However, matching Giannis's massive $54.1 million salary is complicated. Players like Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Brandon Podziemski are among the most appealing assets the Warriors could include. But would that be enough for Milwaukee? Like the Lakers, this scenario seems to hinge heavily on Giannis potentially pushing for it behind closed doors. His past comments about wanting to see European players go to big markets, like Jokic to the Knicks, are cited as potential evidence he might be open to forcing a move to a major city. Like San Francisco. Let's look at the Los Angeles Clippers. This seems like one of the least likely options. While they have 2 tradable first-round picks, their aging core of Kawhi Leonard and James Harden doesn't offer much appeal in a trade package for a rebuilding Bucks team looking for young assets and picks. Finally, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The analysis finds this hard to imagine unless superstar Anthony Edwards is included in the trade, which is equally hard to imagine. Otherwise, the Timberwolves have no unprotected first-round picks to trade, and while they have some solid veterans and young players, they lack a clear top-tier asset to headline a Giannis trade package. So, what's next? Giannis being potentially available completely reshapes the NBA offseason. The draft lottery results, and which teams end up with high picks or valuable assets, will now be viewed through the lens of, could they trade for Giannis? It's going to be a fascinating few months. Will one of these teams put together an offer the Bucks can't refuse? Will Giannis push for a specific destination? Or could the Bucks somehow convince him to stay? The future is incredibly uncertain for Milwaukee, and potentially very exciting for another fan base. What do you think about this massive Giannis trade rumor? Where do you think he'll end up, and which team do you think has the best chance to land him? Let me know all your thoughts, predictions, and dream scenarios in the comments section down below. If you're buzzing about this potential league-altering move, make sure you smash that like button. And please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our breaking news and analysis. Alright, NBA fans, the Giannis situation is officially the biggest story of the offseason so far. It's going to be wild. We'll see you next time. Hey Dub Nation! Alex here, back with some crucial news that's got everyone talking about the future of one of our young players. While we're navigating the complexities of the offseason and looking ahead, the situation with Jonathan Kuminga has become a major topic of discussion, and a new report just dropped a potential landing spot for him. Get ready, because according to a report, if Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors part ways this offseason, the Brooklyn Nets could emerge as a potential destination for JK, possibly through a sign-and-trade. This is big news because Kuminga's future has felt increasingly uncertain, and now we have a concrete team linked to him. So let's quickly get into the context. Jonathan Kuminga's situation has been a bit up and down, and recently he's found himself out of Coach Steve Kerr's rotation in crucial moments. This has naturally led to speculation about whether he sees his long-term future here or if a change of scenery might be best for his development. On top of that, Kuminga is set to be a restricted free agent this summer, meaning his contract situation needs to be resolved. He reportedly didn't reach an extension agreement last fall, seeking a salary higher than $30 million average annual value, similar to other lottery picks in his draft class. Here's the impact of this new report from NBA insider Mark Stein. He reported in his latest Substack that the Brooklyn Nets have long been viewed as a potential suitor that the Warriors have been monitoring, mainly because of the Nets' projected salary cap space. Brooklyn is currently projected to be the only team with significant cap room, around $40 million this summer. This theoretically puts them in a position to make a strong offer to Kuminga as a restricted free agent. However, because most other teams lack significant cap space, Team strategists are suggesting that a sign-and-trade might be the most likely mechanism for Kuminga to leave the Bay Area in July if he doesn't re-sign with the Warriors. This means the Nets would agree to sign Kuminga and then trade assets back to the Warriors to acquire him, allowing Golden State to get something in return instead of losing him for nothing. Analyzing the situation, Stein also reported that sources indicate Steve Kerr and other decision-makers within the Warriors organization had hoped for more consistent development from Kuminga since drafting him 7th overall in 2021. Kuminga has shown flashes of brilliance. Remember that stretch from late December to early January where he was playing some of the best basketball of his career before an ankle injury? This season he averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in 24.3 minutes. But finding a consistent role, especially after the acquisition of Jimmy Butler, has been a challenge, as Coach Kerr himself admitted. The fit hasn't always been seamless, and the team needs players who can contribute reliably to winning now. So, what are the possible consequences and questions for the future? If Kuminga and the Warriors can't agree on a contract or a role, a divorce via sign and trade to a team like the Nets seems like a very real possibility. For Kuminga, going to Brooklyn could offer him a larger role and more consistent playing time to develop his game, potentially getting the contract he desires. For the Warriors, a sign and trade would allow them to recoup assets instead of losing a former lottery pick for nothing, helping them retool the roster. The big questions are, is a split inevitable? What kind of package would the Nets offer in a sign and trade? And would that return be enough for the Warriors? It's a situation that could significantly impact the Warriors' offseason plans. What do you think about Jonathan Kuminga's future? Do you think he'll be back with the Warriors next season? Or is a sign and trade to a team like the Nets the most likely outcome? Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments section below. If you want to stay updated on all the latest Warriors rumors and off-season moves, make sure you smash that like button. And please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. All right, Dub Nation, that's the latest on the Jonathan Kuminga situation. It's going to be an interesting off-season. We'll see you next time.